4 days after the announcement of him returning as WWF Commissioner following the Regal turn, with his first decision in charge being booking the No Mercy WWF title match, with Van Dam being added to make it a three-way with Austin and Angle. Mick Foley opened Raw for the follow-up promo to plug his new Halloween book while explaining the decision to return and book the pay-per-view three-way match, with Foley in an interview just days before the SmackDown tapings noting that he didn't feel rehashing him as WWF Commissioner would match his first memorable run in the role during last year, while saying that with him still under contract with the company, his return was set and then postponed several times recently, with him originally set to be the new WCW Commissioner. For the short stint it was portrayed as the babyface brand under Shane McMahon, before plans were scrapped with him instead being asked to be part of the Invasion pay-per-view 10-man tag main event, followed by matches against Vince and Regal, which he turned down due to not having enough time to get into ring shape, with the opening segment also seeing the return of Trish after months out with injury to open Raw below the usual range of the past several months, with a 3.6 rating. After months of negotiations between the companies on a new deal, with a one-show agreement reached days before the Unforgiven pay-per-view last month, 9:18 p.m. during the Big Show vs Dudleys handicap match saw JR confirming publicly for the first time that No Mercy on Sunday would not be available at one of the biggest pay-per-view providers on DirectTV, telling viewers to look at ordering the event through cable and other sources, with the company now looking at possibly taking a 10 to 20% hit on pay-per-view buys at least in the short-term future, with the last estimates showed around 15% of all orders for WWF pay-per-views to come from the DirectTV system, as No Mercy headlined by the double main event of the Austin Angle Van Dam three-way and The Rock vs Jericho title matches, said to be the first WWF pay-per-view without DirectTV distribution, with Linda McMahon in the last business conference call estimating the lost revenue for the company if a deal is not reached at around $1 to $1.5 million on a monthly basis, as the damage for the WWF, who reportedly had a 50-50 revenue split with Direct and was looking at a better deal and a new contract, with the last one expiring in January, with the company now having more leverage in the pay-per-view business than ever before, with WWF shows responsible for around 70% of all pay-per-view industry revenue, would only be known over the next several months when numbers for the No Mercy and Survivor Series events come out to see if a pattern is developing, as Raw's format on the night placed its big promo segment in the third quarter, with Austin leading out the alliance to see Shane announcing Regal as the new alliance commissioner while reading the voting results on who would team up with Austin in the main event, ending with Austin manipulating the voting to favor Booker over Van Dam to set up an Austin and Booker vs Angle and Taker tag match, with this segment in the 10:30 to 45 p.m. quarter, which also included an APA and Jacqueline vs Storm Hurricane and Molly six-man tag match going 2 minutes, jumping over 700,000 viewers to a 4.5 rating. The WWF had one of its biggest non-televised events of the year taking place yesterday in New York for the first house show in the Garden since the tragedy, with the company as all touring acts had in the past month, feeling the effects of it specifically in its biggest market, with the show, which still drew a massive crowd of 17,000 people to the Garden, becoming the first WWF MSG show not to sell out since entering the peak of the boom period in '98. Ending the all-time record sellout streak at 18 consecutive shows in a run that started on December 27, 1998, with Rock vs Austin in a world title unification match headlining the show in a special event, with the company giving away tickets to firefighters and police officers in the New York area to attend the show after WWF performers were on site throughout the day, and Linda McMahon and Rock on the Sunday Night Heat broadcast later in the day announcing the company's donation of $1 million to help the New York City relief efforts and rescue workers, as the show also symbolized a closure on the recent peak period, with Rock Rock's MSG sellout streak, which saw him selling out every show he headlined in the Garden from December '98 to yesterday, ending under the circumstances to make it the highest drawing MSG streak in history, with the match seeing Rock and Austin going around 15 minutes to a massive reaction from the New York crowd until the Dudleys interfered for the DQ finish in a similar finish to their recent matches on the road, with Rock vs RVD opening Raw's second hour to go 9 minutes for the WCW title, seeing Rhyno spearing Rock and Jericho on commentary interfering for the finish with the idea of him wanting to finally win the big one by beating the top guy in the business, with the Rock-Van Dam match jumping over 700,000 viewers to the highest rated quarter and overall peak of the night 4.6 rating. After peaking with the Rock vs Van Dam match at the top of the hour, Raw saw what turned into a weekly pattern of the second hour slide, now escalating with the show sharply dropping over the next 15 minutes with over 700,000 viewers from 10:15 p.m. to stay in that range for the rest of the original time slot of the broadcast at 11 p.m., dropping from a 4.6 to a 4 rating for a quarter, first seeing a short Kidman vs Taz match followed by Jericho and Rhyno going 4 minutes, ending with Awesome and Raven interfering to attack Jericho for the DQ finish to set up Rock running in to take them out before laying out Jericho with a rock bottom in response for not staying out of his business earlier, and with the plans for the No Mercy double main event finalized in the past 10 days. The company's creative crew headed by Vince McMahon reportedly brought up several scenarios for the top matches at the event until finally settling on the two headliners, with plans reportedly circulating around Rob Van Dam's position on the card, with a range of ideas seeing him booked in singles matches against Rock or Shane McMahon at the show until the decision was made to pair him up with Vince McMahon and add him to Austin vs Angle instead of a third straight singles match, with the other creative conflict hovering around the elevation of Jericho into main event status and whether he should turn heel before the show or go with Rock vs Jericho with both as baby faces before a slow build up to the eventual turn, and if things in production meetings are getting chaotic recently with the company looking to rebound from the recent slide of business on the road. Things are set to be escalating to new heights in January, with Hall and Nash now considered a lock to sign with the company shortly after Nash's Time Warner contract expires on January 1, 2002, with major intrigue to see their deal and the ramification and reaction to it from other top stars due to them not wanting to work a full road schedule, with both looking to negotiate a similar deal to Rock's current one to only work TVs and pay-per-views along with major market house show events, with Raw following an Edge vs X-Pac match having their final angle building up the Edge vs Christian ladder match on Sunday, with Christian setting up Edge with a fake emergency phone call from home followed by Heyman announcing him as the new member of the Alliance. Raw's final quarter, featuring the entrances and first 5 minutes of the Austin and Booker vs Angle and Taker main event, saw one of the most unusual patterns of the year, with the quarter dropping to a near-show low 3.9 rating, making it the lowest rated main event quarter in years since the company entered the early stages of the boom period in early '98, which was then usually facing a big star power Nitro main event head-to-head on TNT, with Raw on the night dropping to a 4.1 rating overall to equal its lowest rating of the year, averaging 5.3 million viewers on both hours, to again similar to last year's pattern post the TNN move last October, seeing SmackDown opening a large gap as the most watched show of the week, with last Thursday also going against mega competition but with wider reach on network television, drawing over 6.3 million viewers to make it exactly a million viewers gap between the shows in the past 4 days, with the Raw main event tag ending with Van Dam running in to build to a decision of him choosing to frog splash either Angle or Austin, going 11 minutes to rebound 600,000 viewers in the 7-minute overrun to close at a 4.3 rating.